What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Briarpatch Jack from Rosecraft Blades. Now, this is part of the passaround via the Lefty passaround. It is the Briarpatch Jack as well as the Ultim Penguin from TPK, which if you guys missed my last video, definitely go check that out. I did my full review on that. Before we get into the video, huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty EDC. You guys know the drill. Always sending out dope stuff for us to check out. And, most of my content wouldn't happen without Kev. So, Kev, if you're watching this, I always appreciate you, buddy. Much love. But, yeah, let's jump right into the review. Now, I'm going to say this. I am not a huge traditional person. The only slip joints that I've had since I've really started, collecting and doing the channel and diving back into the EDC world, it was of course the tactile turn Bayer, which I ended up getting rid of, and I currently have the Venom Jack from Jack Wolf Knives. I have not experienced any other. No, I take that back. I looked at the low drag Jack in Freight and Lockco when I was deciding between which knife I wanted to buy. It was the low drag Jack and the Venom Jack that I was deciding between. Had not handled any of the Jack Wolfs. I've been very tempted, but I'm just not a huge slip joint guy. I definitely enjoy them when they're really well done, which Jack Wolfs are. But I just don't see myself going out and fully collecting, a ton of them. I definitely like the fidgetability of folding knives more. That's really, I think, a huge selling point. And I really enjoy my Venom Jack. And I will never get rid of that because if you guys remember, I got married with it in my pocket. So it's just, it's always going to be around. And I like that knife so much. I feel like if I got other slip joints, it would take away from it. Now, that being said, I am going to the Finger Lakes region later in this summer, August 2024. And the way we'll be going up through to go there, we'll be going through Bradford, Pennsylvania, which is where the Case knife Case and Zippo factory is. So I plan on stopping there and seeing if I can get one of their, cheaper, lower end slip joints just to have, just to be part of the experience and stuff like that. But I'm not going all in on the slip joint world. It just doesn't intrigue me that much. So with that being said, I know I've rambled a little bit. I did carry this a few times, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time with it. And if you guys remember my unboxing this video, I am not the biggest fan of nail nicks. They really just I don't know, there's something about shoving my nail in there and it feels like it's gonna rip it off. I know I'm probably being a sissy, even though I use these two hands for a living every single day of my life. I shouldn't say that, every single weekday of my life. But yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of the nail nick. They just, I don't know, I just cut my nails because I got home and showered and stuff like that from work and my nails needed trimmed. And so they're pretty low to the bone there, not bone, but they're pretty short. I don't have long nails being ripped off, and I don't know, I just have to fight through that urge. I don't know if anyone else out there like me is like that, but definitely a little bit peculiar. So I'm gonna quit rambling. We're gonna get right into this. As far as materials go, I also will leave a link in the description down below. It is currently out of stock on Rosecraft Blades, but if you guys are interested in this, you can put your email in and they will notify you whenever you are in, or whenever it is in stock. I shouldn't say that you are in stock. But the Rosecraft, I'm going to read this right off the website. The Rosecraft Blades Briarpatch Jack is based on a traditional cigar pattern. Not really sure. Cigar just maybe being the shape. This is a two-bladed slip joint, which again, that's another thing. I'm not a huge fan of the two-bladed slip joints. I definitely prefer the thinner one-bladed. But it features a 3.2 inch D2 clip point blade, which is right here at one end, and a 3.1 inch D2 lamb foot blade at the other end. And I don't want Adobe to be popping up on here. That's in the middle of my video. Adobe, what are you doing? I apologize about that. Both with heavy swedging, half stops, and brushed satin finishes. I was never aware of what a lamb foot blade is, but it's, guess it's not a sheep's foot, it's a lamb foot. I don't know if there's much difference there, if it's literally just a different name for it. The covers are smoky gray bone with brushed steel bolsters, steel liners, nickel silver pins, and the stainless steel rosebud shield in the middle. It's 4-inch closed, 7.2 overall, and weighs just 4.2 ounces. It definitely feels a little bit weighty. It's designed by Andy Armstrong. So Andy, shout out to you. Not really super familiar with you at all, but you did design a pretty interesting knife here. My throat's getting all scratchy, my eyes getting all itchy. I'm just falling apart, guys. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much gave you all the materials there. I mean, D2 for the price point, and I know D2 is a pretty well used working steel on, you know, slip joints and stuff like that, traditionals. But I do really like the, what do they call it, smoky gray bone on there. It looks really good. And I am a big fan of like shields and stuff like that on traditionals. So, I mean, as far as materials go, 5 out of 5. Alrighty here. Aesthetic. So, we're going to look at it in 3 ways here. With the knife closed, I do think it looks okay. I don't love, you know, the fact that you're looking at it this way, it's thicker and stuff like that. Man, my eye is just so itchy. Man, I'm just falling apart at the seams. But I do like the brushed bone look. I like the bolsters having a nice satin finish as well as the shield. You open it up with the lamb foot, how it kind of leans forward. I think that looks pretty nice. I'm a huge fan of these types of blade shapes. And then you get the more traditional style in the clip point, which I also think it looks pretty solid. You know, nice clip point style, thin edge, those things. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to kind of go with this. You know, I think it looks good. Do I think it looks great? Yes and no. You know, I'm going to be fair. I do think it looks good. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm trying not to be biased because I'm not the biggest slip joint fan. I'm trying to, you know, give you guys my true authentic thoughts. Now, as far as action goes, both of these blades do have half stops. Are they, you know, is it the best pull in the world? No. And you also have to, you know, sort of fight through the other blade, around the other blade to get like a good pinch grip, and then you're pulling it out. But they do both have half stops. They both feel, you know, about the same to me. Maybe the clip point feels a little bit stronger, a little bit springier. Excuse me. You open it up. But, you know, the spring tension and the pull, which I guess what you can use, if you have one of the blades already down, or excuse me, open, you can just pull it open like this. Let's try it with the clip point and see if it'll do the same thing. You can kind of grab onto the swedge there and pull it. I'm going to say the pull is like a 5, 4.5, 5. I'll give it a 4. Compared to other slip joints that I have, like my Jack Wolf, they're just, you know, the walk and talk is just definitely not there. And of course, like I said, you have to, you know, you can't like rapidly, you know, kind of the way you can fidget with slip joints when you have a single bladed slip joint. Everyone knows how you can just like boop, 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 you know what I mean? But this one you really can't do that because you have 2 blades and it's just a little bit more cumbersome. So I'll give it a 4. Now acoustics. 3.5. I mean, I feel like these are definitely more catered towards folders. You really can't like, I mean, you can, but you can't, you know what I mean? I'll just go 3.5. It's kind of middle of the road where I always put stuff like that. Now ergos, you know, the shape of the knife is okay. I mean, it's a pretty simple, just a round, basically a cigar is what it's based after. But when you have the blade, you know, down there that's not open, not the most comfortable. I mean, you have a very thin blade stock that's kind of like digging into your hand a little bit. Definitely not the most comfortable feeling in the world. Now I'll open the clip point, excuse me, the lamb foot, and then go to the clip point. And it's the same thing. I mean, you can definitely feel it. And you're probably not going to go like this. You know, if I'm going to be using this blade, I'm not going to have this blade open and like hanging out back here, and vice versa. If I'm going to use the clip point, I'm not going to have the lamp foot open back here to, you know, be cutting things and risk, you know, hitting on things like that. So as far as ergos go, I'm going to give that one a 3.5 too. I don't find it comfortable. I don't find it, you know, useful to, it digs in. It's sharp, and I don't know, just not my cup of tea. That's why I don't like two-bladed knives. You know, unless that they sit completely flush into the scale, if that makes sense. But next up is carry. Now, like I said, this thing comes in weighing 4.2 ounces, and it definitely feels like it weighs all of those 4.2 ounces. It's not, you know, the lightest knife in the world. It's a pretty thick, has some nice, you know, heft to it. I did slip this in my pocket, I think twice. The one time I carried it in just my left-hand pocket of my khakis and my bird dogs. And another time I put it in like the little zippered pocket, kind of like on the, what'd that be, like 3 or 4 o'clock position on my hip. It carries fine. It's not like a bad carry. I have carried this in gym shorts just around the apartment. Not too bad, even like just tossing in a pocket and just kind of having it sitting there. You really still can't even feel it. So I feel like carry's fine. And if you do get a slip joint, or excuse me, if you do get a slip for it, that's what I would recommend. A little bit easier in a pocket, and it just, you know, protects the way the, I keep blanking on what the finish is called. Smoky gray bone. That keeps the finish from, you know, getting tarnished and scratched and things like that. So as far as carry goes, it is a little bit heavy, but I really had no, you know, big issues with it, so I'll give it a 4.5. Now, price point / value / would I recommend this knife? You know, I already said multiple times I don't want to try to beat a dead horse, but I'm not the biggest traditional guy in the world. But I think as far as traditionals are, you know, going, which Rosecraft is kind of starting to bring back traditionals with a little bit modern, you know, features. It comes in at $65, $65.99. So for 66 bucks, excuse me, you get technically 2 blades. Technically, of course, you get 2 blades. You get 2 blades. You get a really nice finish, satin bolsters, satin shield. It is thick, but if you are a traditional guy, this knife is probably speaking to you differently than it is to me. You know, where I'm more of the folder guy with the action and the fidgetability, you might value this one probably a lot better than I do. So I will say, if, you know, it is really well made. This is, I've had some other Rosecraft blades when they first started making stuff. This is the first variation of a slip joint that I've ever handled from them. And I can confidently say that the build quality is pretty solid for, again, $66. I mean, you're getting 2 nice D2 blades, which I think D2 is fine for 65 bucks. And again, that's, you know, a very traditional based steel, that 1095, you know, 440, stuff like that, from my understanding. But you get a nice clip point style blade. You, of course, get that lamb's foot that's very utilitarian. So if you are a fan of wanting, you know, 2 styles of blades in your traditional slip joint, I think that this is, you know, a fair priced option for you guys. You know, I can recommend the build quality. I can recommend it if you are a fan of this style of knife, definitely. Not my cup of tea, but again, for those of you out there that are looking for something like this, I can recommend it. It's really, you know, it's a good build quality. It's, you know, overall solid for what it is. Again, it's just not something that I'm looking for every day. But I will give a you know, a price point value and what I recommend this knife. I'll give it a 5. So let me count this up real quick. Alrighty, so the Rosecraft Blades Briarpatch Jack is coming in at a score of 30, which lands it on the great category. It is currently, it'll be the lowest knife in that, you know, that can't talk today. It'll be the lowest rated knife that I have done so far in that category. But it's still a great knife. Again, just not for me. Have I enjoyed getting to kind of check it out? Yeah, because it's just cool to check out stuff that you typically aren't going to go out of your way to buy. Like, I would never have purchased this, so it's cool to see it, make content for you guys, and to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. But I think a 30-point great ranking or rating on my scale is perfectly adequate. Again, good build quality. If you're looking for this style of knife, I think you won't regret it if you pick one of these up. But that was my full review on the Briarpatch Jack from Rosecraft Blades. Huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty EDC for allowing us to check this type of stuff out. And huge shout out to you guys. Always appreciate every single one of you as well. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.